Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Carlton People. Today you're going to meet the face behind the Horizon Finance Group. We're going to get his story. I'm excited. Nick, for the second
G'day,
time,
everyone. Thanks for having me, Terry.
welcome to
This is the
Carlton
second
People.
one.
I actually told everyone what had happened, so it's no secret that this recording was deleted. But you know what? We've won a game since, so I think the vibes will be higher.
I was going to say I was in the midst of depression last week. Losing to Collingwood's never any good. So Thursday fixed me up. I can't remember getting home. I remember I had lots of red wine and I had a bloody good time. It was an exciting game.
It's a
little bit too close, wasn't it?
It was. Yeah, it was. It's an exciting time all round. We're going to get onto that. Maybe we'll start with you. Tell us how you became a Carlton supporter from the very beginning.
From the very beginning. I was born into this world a Collingwood supporter in an era that I'm not proud of. I have worn a Collingwood scarf, but I never went to a game. So my mum was a single mum for quite a while, and she backed for Collingwood. My grandfather backed for Collingwood, but no one would ever take us to the footy. And then, fortunately, my stepdad arrived in the early days when I was 6 or 7, and he was a Carlton supporter. He's a 50-year member, loves the Blues.
Right.
And, started taking me to the footy. I started becoming interested in 86 when we lost to Hawthorn in the grand final. And then I was very jealous that we made the grand final the next year and we won, and I was too young to go. But I went probably from about the age of 9 or 10 to the footy down in Princes Park back in the day when you'd get up and close to the players and, saw some of the greatest times down at Princes Park. So Stephen Kernahan was my favourite player and my hero. But, I've seen lots of good times. Saw him kick 10 goals against the Bulldogs. And I just had you go into Princes Park in the social club and there's just a feeling that you just want to be there and you become part of it. The guy throwing the peanuts around in the stands to the smell of the ointment on the players and, just that mad rush, being able to run out on the ground at the end of the game and paddle the players. I got right involved. So I've been a member ever since and love the Blues. It's been some good times, been some hard times.
Yeah. I mean, I've been passed down the stories. I obviously have a lot of respect and love for Sticks and, Silvani and Kenny Hunter and Harms and all these greats. I mean, we're in 2024. It was a very, very long time ago from when they were playing at their peak. I mean, what's it? I mean, for me, these are heroes. What was it? Did you know at the time when you were watching Sticks and all these champions, did you realize at the time how big they were, or were they just because that's all you could watch? You just thought they were, just great players of the era? Because the way I listen to people talk about them now is just like these, like godlike creatures,
Look, we had a superstar team back in '95, but we only won one premiership, and there was frustration as well. Even in '95, I felt, oh geez, because we were winning those close games. We weren't out and out pumping. We pumped a few sides, but I was never really fully confident in that year, and I guess you do take it for granted a little bit as well. I think we won 16 on the trot in that year. We lost to Sydney and St Kilda, and I think they were the two bottom place teams.
Oh, wow.
And it was
in a row?
In a row. And that was earlier on in the season as well. So it was a bit like you get your 4-game head start and then you start losing a couple like we felt this year. And then we get back to winning again. I guess I didn't appreciate it as much because, Carlton were always up there somewhere. You just assume that you're going to be there. You're going to be somewhere close. And I think the feeling that I'm feeling at the moment, maybe it's because I'm a grown adult, or maybe it's because of 20 years of hardship. This just means more, and I can feel the buzz in the room. No matter what room I walk in at Carlton, there's just a feeling of pride there and a feeling of, I guess, teamship. It's not all about individuals anymore. They're all moving together as one on a collective goal. I was very rapt to hear the whisper that Wiedering had said there's an unsigned agreement that the players have got that they will, sacrifice their own income to make sure that we have the common goal, which is the premiership. That's very exciting to hear that they're on that page.
Yeah. I hear Vossi talk now about, we have to be great without the ball. Our defensive pressure around the ground has to be at the top level. Is that what the teams back then were like? Were they great defensive sides around the ground, high tackle numbers, or were they just skilled hard at the contests and talented?
Have you seen much of Silvani's highlights? Stephen
I mean,
Silvani. We had the fullback of the century, and chuck in there Peter Dean, and Dean Rice was just tough as hell. Michael Sexton as well. We had they were strong. They were relentless. Their defensive pressure was huge. You've got a fullback that can take speckies over a full forward as well. It's pretty handy.
Yeah, and I mean, they're playing one-on-one back in the day, right? There were not many zones, if any. So it was just beat your direct opponent every week.
Yep. There wasn't any soft calls by the umpires either. You could reach over and punch the ball over their shoulder, and that wasn't an easy free kick for the full forward.
Mate, you've spoken to me about that feeling at Princess Park, and do you have any, 2 or 3 core memories from games that you went to at Princess Park that you'll never ever forget?
Yep, definitely. Stephen Kernahan kicking 10 goals against the Bulldogs. That was sensational. When I was young, I can't remember much of the game, but my uncle actually knew Ken Hunter, and Kenny Hunter came off with an ankle injury. And I remember we opened the gate, we were let through, walked along the ground and go see how he was doing, and had a bit of a chat to him. I'm sure the game, it must have been a quarter time or something. I was very young. But yeah, just sitting there chatting to an AFL player while the game was on was pretty cool. There was Stephen Silvani getting knocked out. That was really ugly by Darren Milburn. And I'll never forget that prick's smug face as he came off and just grinned at us. It was unforgivable, mate. Silvani was knocked out cold. You didn't know if he was dead, going to die, what was going on with him. And to see a bloke laughing at him right, and the crowd's reaction, I'm pretty sure we had half the mafia in the garden stand back then wanting to kill him.
Mate, that is... there's something about that whole story when people talk about it. I see the rage in your eyes when you talk about it.
Yeah, I've never forgotten it. Never forgotten it.
Yeah. I mean, I remember going to 2010. Monday we played, it was like the Easter weekend. We played the Cats on a Monday. We beat him that day. Darren Milburn comes out. They introduced him on the speakers, and we're booing him in 2010.
Yeah. Yeah, my son plays footy for Keilor Footy Club, and there was a junior coach named Darren Milburn. And I went down there to make sure it wasn't him, because I was going to pull my son out of the club. I've got so much passion for the Blues.
It's funny because I believe it to a T. You would have actually pulled him out if it was him.
I looked at the email and going, Darren Milburn, hang on a second. Aiden, what's he look like? Is this him?
Oh, that is brilliant. Oh, that's too good.
And probably one. Can I just give you one more?
Yeah, please.
We're playing West Coast, and at the end of the game, the Eagles are coming off the ground, and one of our supporters has leant over the race and cracked Paul Langdon. What was his? Carl Langdon, and it made news headlines for weeks. Yeah, but don't know why. It's just one of those players that sort of used to get under people's skins, and just people were able to get too close to the players, and got him one.
Wow. It's interesting because you're talking about a different era of the game. Looking at where we are today, I mean, this is actually a great time to be talking about it, because we've just had the Collingwood supporter who's, lovingly hugged the West Coast supporter, and it wasn't, any malice in it. And then also talking about, dirty hits like Milburn and Silvani. At the time, did you think to yourself, and all the supporters, did you say to yourselves, we have to clean up the game and we've got to get rid of this? Or was this just, that's how the game is?
It was just how it was. I mean, if you ever met David Rees-Jones, it was kind of how he thrived on tough football and big hits. And yeah, it's I mean, when you think about the impact, it's footy aside, it's a human being to try and physically knock someone out and cause damage to their head to win a game of football. It's not. I'm glad it's kind of stamped out now. I do think a lot of our rules are a little bit soft, but there's obviously method behind it. A lot of these players who have copped the big hits and all that, they're clearly not good after they retire from footy.
Yeah. Well, that was kind of my next question. You know, how do you reflect on the way that the game's changed and evolved? I mean, we're really precious about the head. I mean, from my lens, I think when it's all said and done, you'd rather look back in 100 years and say we were overprotective of the head or not protective enough. And I guess we don't know too much yet. I think once the players from the 80s and 90s have unfortunately gone, maybe we do more studies in their brains and see what the impact truly was. I only think we're scratching the surface for what's actually happened inside their brain.
Yeah, but like with risk comes reward, right?
Yeah.
Players getting paid a lot of money. They know what they're getting into. I mean, it's the same if you join boxing. It's part of that sport is you're going to get hits to the head.
Yeah.
It's a hard one because we do have a contested game. It's a hard contested game of footy. Where do you draw the line between what's too hard? I mean, you've got players going for marks now. They're mid-air, and it's a natural thing to brace yourself for impact. It's not really, they can't change their trajectory and move out of their way. If they're going to line someone up, they're lining someone up.
You know what? It's made me realize I think we've just lost the balance, because when we started making the change, it used to be, what was your intent? Milburn intended to hit Silvani. He meant it. And then we've sort of blurred the lines a bit, and it's gone from did you intend to bump to did you elect to bump? And it's not about did you intend to, collide or hurt. It's did you knock him out? That's an interesting point.
Yep. Which, the intent can be there to mark the ball, to go for the contest. And unfortunately, a clash is going to happen because someone else has got the same intent. You've got two people running at each other at 15, 20 kilometres an hour, 40 kilometres of impact's pretty hard hit.
Yeah. Wow. Well, that's a can of worms. I don't know where that goes, but we will see. Can you recollect what happened? I mean, we've gone from the mighty club, Princess Park, and then we go through early 2000s. We lose Princess Park. We move away. Salary cap happens. Was that something that was just overnight? Was that building? Was it a shock? Like, what do you remember about, I guess, the fall of the great empire?
It's a good question. I mean, when Parkin stepped down, who do we have? Can't remember. We went through so many bloody coaches. We had Jesselenko, we had Robert Walls for a bit, we had Dennis Pagan. And it was starting to feel unsettled. And then the salary cap breach obviously came to a head. And then it was black for a while, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I think Mick Malthouse came in and sealed the deal for us.
Just put the nail in the coffin, didn't he? Yeah.
What were we thinking? There's a premiership player who needs a job. Brett Ratton's okay, but he needs time. See you later. We're going to go for this guy.
Yeah.
Who, I'm sure it just felt like an inside fucking job from those maggots to destroy us.
Yeah. What was it like having all those memories at Princess Park and then that's it? We don't play games there anymore.
It was a weird feeling. Yeah. It kind of went from that. Somebody asked me the other day, but from feeling like you're really close up and involved and being a part of it to almost like a clinical style of football. I think the players got prettier and the game got a bit more distant, I think. We've always had the MCG. I mean, that's the thing about Carlton. Even through our worst times, we've always drawn a crowd. We've got, I think, the loyalist supporter base in the NFL. We don't disappear like Melbourne when we start playing shit, or Hawthorn. We're always there. Probably North Melbourne's a close second. Geez, they've put up with some pain, and they'll stay there till the end as well. But we've always had the big games, so it's really just for the smaller games, losing Princess Park and having to play at Marvel Stadium.
Yeah.
Which I kind of like Marvel now.
Yeah, I don't mind it. I don't mind it.
Yeah.
The G's, I feel like Marvel's good for the spectacle of the game and the broadcast because it's it's sort of manufactured conditions. It's under the roof. It's
Yeah.
perfect conditions for footy, even though it's not natural. The
Yeah.
MCG is just where there's like a spirit of football, like the soul of the game comes out, and it
Yep.
might be windy, it might be a little bit wet,
Yep.
but that's kind of part of the story.
Yep. Yep. The facilities are a bit newer and shinier at Marvel. This is, the MCG's still got that old style feel about it, definitely.
Yeah. Let's talk about your involvement with the club. So you are the founder, CEO of Horizon Finance Group.
Yep.
We start there, and then we'll talk about how you're involved at the club and player sponsors and or broad sponsor as well.
Yeah. Yep. So I started the company just in our second lockdown, actually, 3 years ago. Before that, I was in the automotive trade, sold cars, and moved into finance there for a couple of years. Joined another brokerage and helped a mate grow his business for about 3 years. Then decided to have a crack on my own. So it's been 3 good years. I've obviously met and had a lot of people that I've helped over the years, and they've supported my business by referring clients and bits and pieces. So things are going well. We've now got 5 brokers working for me, and we're doing about sort of 40, 50 deals a month. We finance cars, boats, caravans, personal loans, as well as some small business loans. I've had businesses that have actually started up with me, and I've helped them over time get funds to expand and scale up their business. It's the first, I still live fairly humbly. It's the first time I've been able to pay myself a decent wage, and my passion's football. So I wanted to get involved with the club where I could. And a mate of mine, he was a player sponsor a few years ago, and I said, "Oh, that looks pretty cool. How do you do that? Get to hang out with players?" And so he's referred me on to, and a Guernsey club sponsor, they call it, platinum sponsor of Lewis Young. And this is the first time that I've joined the Carlton Presidents Club. So it's been cool having a couple of tables and sitting there listening to Luke Sayers have a chat to us pre-game about what their style is, what they think, where they think they'll get the advantage, and meeting a heap of different people that I wouldn't otherwise have the opportunity to talk to. It's been really good. But Carlton's one of those clubs that they support people who are involved, and they want to help grow businesses and help players with opportunities at post football, because a lot of them just get left off the shelf. See you later. There's no other opportunities. So the Carlton in Business program, I think, is a really good one, where they'll not only help businesses grow, but is an opportunity for players to have other avenues and to meet different business owners to decide what they might do after football as well. So it's very well run behind the scenes. I'm very impressed.
That's cool. Yeah, I mean, it's cool to see. You had a passion for the finance side of things, and taking that leap of faith. And so this is the first year you've been able to, do some things and sort of give back to yourself in terms of investing in things that you're actually passionate about.
Yeah, 100%. And in turn, that helps me grow as well. I met a mortgage broker at one of the tables the other day. He's referring me some leads and some deals, and we chat on a Monday after the talk about footy, and it's just a common glue that holds everyone together.
How good. So anyone watching this, if they're looking for finance for almost anything, I'll put a link in the description below. They can just click there. Just book a call with you, consultation with you, and you could just go.
Just give me a call. I'm happy to share you my mobile number as well if people want to give me a call, because a lot of people just don't know where to start, or they might choose the wrong lender to buy something and end up with a high interest rate and one that really hurts their credit file. And if people apply themselves to too many different lenders to even try and see what deal they'll get, unfortunately, it impacts their credit score to a point where banks see them as high-risk applicants and they'll get a high interest rate. So even if it's just a quick consultation, Nick, I'm thinking about doing this, do you do that? And I'll provide advice. Don't have to do business with me, but just even some advice. It'd help.
Cool. Love that. Love that. So let's go back to the footy. What are you seeing from the current group? It's 2024 when we're filming this. It's in May, so we've just finished round 9. We're coming up in round 10. What are you seeing from this current group that you think they have the potential to get the job done at the end of the season?
I'm seeing that they're in there for the team. It's not a few different individuals. We're really having a go at this, Terry. And I think at the moment, what I'm seeing some good soldiers come back, and we're kind of trying to, particularly in defence, we're trying to see how that's going to work. And I'm glad I'm not glad about injuries, but I'm glad they happened early. And I see piece by piece we're getting players back. They're warming up. They're figuring out where they fit in the side, like same as players like Elijah Hollands and all that sort of thing. Ollie Hollands. I'd love to be able to see Ollie Hollands and Cunningham sort of almost job share that wing, because Ollie's trying so hard at the moment, but he doesn't seem to have the motor to keep going. He looks exhausted. he tries his guts out, like he's getting in there doing the hard stuff, doing things that you think a small player shouldn't be able to do at this point in time. And I can see that it's exhausting him, whereas Cunningham's skill level is silky smooth. I love the way he delivers the ball inside of 50. I think he was a bit rough to be dropped last week. But yeah, we're working out a structure that works, and it's going to be exciting to see what our best 22 looks like when everybody's available and how they function. Jack Martin, I think he started on last Thursday night for his first game back. Not really match fit yet for the speed of the game, but he's going to get better. I'm pumped. I think we've got the team that's going to win a premiership.
Wow.
I can't see why we can't win it this year. We might not win it this year, but I feel we're in our pocket. We're in our window now. And there's no more deserving player to hold a premiership cup than Cripper. What a leader.
Yeah, I would say, I mean, this will give you an insight as to the type of teams that I've seen. This is the best version of the Carlton Football Club that I've seen in my life. I mean, I'm born in 91, so I don't remember 95. I don't remember any of the 90s, really. This team right now is the best. This is the best stretch of, 12 months, we'll call it, that I've ever watched. So that says a lot about what I've seen,
100%. And like, I feel that, last week was the best side that we've been able to put on paper for this year as well. And that's only going to get better. There's still more people to come back. So strap in.
Strap in, mate. I was going to say, usually I finish this and I ask, which year we're going to lift up the cup. Do you think we really can do it this year?
I think we can.
Wow.
I've got a multi on Sportsbet I put on before the season started. And I'll just do it for a little bit of shits and giggles, but Carlton Premiership, Brownlow Patrick Cripps, Coleman Medal Charlie. 120 bucks on it. $88,000 is the payout. So I fucking hope it's this year.
Wow. What do you think a premiership does to the Carlton, community? What do you think it will mean to us all?
If we don't all explode in happy tears at the same time, there's something wrong with us. It's so much pent up disappointment. We've been loyal. We've watched it happen. We had to listen all about green shoots, and hey, those green shoots, he was right.
He was right, to be fair.
He gave me the time, but he was right. He was right. He's recruited our spine. He's underrated for what he did and what he's done for us. But yeah, shit, we've been through a lot. It was only 3 years ago. My son, who's a loyal, knows everything about the club inside and out, all the stats, where they've been recruited from, who they are. It was only 3 years ago, I think he saw their first win. That was we won against Port Adelaide at the MCG. Wasn't by much, but yeah, just the feeling that he had and being able to see happiness in him at a game of footy. I can't imagine what it's going to be like for everybody if we win a premiership.
Yeah. I mean, to have to have a united and shared experience with, the generation before mine who told me how great the club is, and who let's be honest, and a lot of the current generation, we live vicariously through the previous generation when it comes to understanding what it was like to be a mighty club. So I think
Yep.
to have a shared memory where all of us together now finally have something that we can now look back on, um,
Yep.
that's the most exciting part for me. Like, enough of the bullshit, the division, all of that. Like, we all get to have the flag that we get to, all have played a little part in when it comes to supporting and barracking for them to get there.
Yeah, 100%. Just everybody's getting tired of all these boomers talking about how strong and how good we were. It's the same stories. Let's create some new memories.
Yeah, that's a
About
good point.
time.
That's a good point. Have you got any players on the list that you look at who are maybe in their like first, second, third year that you think they're the ones to look out for in the future?
They're all pretty young now, aren't they?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. To be fair, they are all pretty young.
I'm pretty pumped about Elijah Hollands and Ollie Hollands.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, what Binns is doing in the reserves at the moment, racking up 30, 40 plus possessions week in, week out, just obviously needs to grow a bit in structure and in confidence as well. Lockie Cowan, he looks like he's going to turn into a good player for us. There's Carroll. Yeah, pretty much. You look everywhere, and we've got not only players playing in their positions now in senior ranks, but junior boys coming up and right through the reserves. There's a bit of depth there. I know it doesn't feel like it, but we had a big injury list.
Yeah,
massive. So yeah, I think Motlop, I think, is going to be fantastic for us. He just a couple more years. Watch what he's going to do as well.
yeah. Isn't it funny how Jacob, Harry, Charlie, Cripps, these guys, like they're the veterans now on the list. Like, they're the ones that the youngins look up to now for instruction, for direction,
Yep.
and I guess for inspiration.
Yep. And old Doherty's like the grandpa of the team now, isn't he?
Yeah. So, nah, look, mate, it's been awesome. It's been awesome to connect. Thank you very much for getting on the show and for sharing your story and for supporting the channel. It's great to have you a part of it. And
I love you guys, so that's why reached out, and thanks for having me. I'm rapt to be a part of it.
absolutely, mate. Go Blues.
Go Blues.